So the other thing that you would have seen recently, and I'll tell you what we're going to do is we're going to actually drop that link call, just so that we can save some hotel bandwidth. You never made it in. Okay. What we're going to do is jump over to Delve. So I'm going to jump over here. Now, when you're in Office 365 right now, and this comes to that value of what you get as a platform in the service, is there a significant amount of services available within this suite. Now, obviously, it's the SPTechCon, so it's a SharePoint conference, so we're most familiar with this one. We've talked a little bit about OneNote, so I can jump in and view this in my browser and see those notes in my browser if I choose. But there's something new that was announced last week, which was a product called Delve. Now, Delve is something that I've been using internally pretty much since I got to Microsoft 6 months ago. I wanted the product name to be called Stalker because I find it extremely useful for finding out what other people are doing within the org. Now, here's some key things, because there was a great yam jam last week around Delve where a few people in this room actually jumped in and were asking questions around the product. And we do these yam jams very frequently with our team to get feedback back. Now, I'm going to switch back to my monitor because I can see that Andrew's just going to distract people there. You're what, sorry? Oh, you're going to open up Delve as well. And so this is actually showing me a view here of what I can see of everybody else's files. So when you look here, in terms of my Delve right now, there's a document that Chris Johnson, a Word document's been working on, that's had 33 views, and it shows you a little quick preview. There's an annual financial report that CJ's also been working on, which has had 8 views. And a PowerPoint deck that RPAN's been working on with 5 views there. Now, as you grow and use this system, obviously it's learning a lot about what you're interested in and what you click on. Very, very powerful. Now, the real benefit here is I can jump in. So for instance, I can see, okay, I remember someone shared something with me, or it was presented to me in a meeting the previous week. This will actually give me a view that allows me to see what's been shared with me recently that I've collaborated on. So there's a lot of times where, especially at Microsoft now, where I get a lot of things shared with me, and it's very hard to remember exactly where that was within SharePoint. If your information architecture's done the right thing, you've probably got thousands of sites with different security, and it's split up over different areas. And sometimes it's hard to navigate back through that system, so you have to rely on search. Well, Delve is kind of an extra step from search. All of these results are handled from search, so it is security trimmed. So if my boss, Chris, was working on an employee review of me, naturally it's not going to come up in Delve because I don't have the security access to see that. But this is very, very powerful. Now, I can immediately jump in and see these documents. So for instance, if I go back up to my work here, and there was a notes from a staff meeting. Now, we'll flick back because AC's got that open. And you can see that when I jump into that document, that's going to open inside Word Online. Now, I can, as an editing experience here, jump over and go edit document, and I can go into edit in Word, which will open up my rich client, or edit Word in line. I'm going to go into my rich client, and what you'll see on the right-hand side here is Andrew has done the same thing on the iPad. So this is the Word app that's available in the iTunes store. It's had an incredible amount of downloads already. It comes as part of the Office Pro Plus subscription. And what you'll see here is that flow is allowing him to edit and add and do all sorts of things here. So I'm going to quickly go in and make a comment here, which is that in here, I'm just going to make a comment on here. Now, if I go new comment, I'm just going, can we check this? Can we check this is correct? And what that's going to do is he'll automatically sync on Andrew's Word app there, very much like the OneNote experience. So if I'm in a meeting, and maybe Andrew's at the airport, he had his iPad app out, he's joined to the airport Wi-Fi, which is probably a little bit better than hotel Wi-Fi, and he should be able to see that refresh coming through, and he'll be able to comment back on that directly in line, and I'll be able to see those refresh comments coming through. So this is really cool from that aspect that it doesn't matter anymore what platform you're on. You don't have to have a Windows machine to be able to work with Office 365. Now, we targeted iPad first, but in coming months, you'll be able to see that we're actually going to do the same thing for other platforms out there as well. So if you don't happen to be on an iPad and you'd like to have a full Word app, this will become available for other platforms too. You're really cursed today, aren't you? Well, at least it's not me getting bad demo Demo Juju. So if you could do that, well, maybe you can just demo inserting the app while inserting an image, just to show how easy that is. We ran through this about 3 times this morning. It's because the room is full of people. So you can see here that inserting pictures directly into that Word document is actually really easy. And he's just using touch then to rescale that image. He can rotate it. He can do all sorts of different things in here. He can add text around it. He can add all sorts of styling as he's going through. And you'll see the smart arts coming through as well. So it really does allow you to have that Word experience on your mobile device, whether it's a Surface, whether it's an iPad, and eventually when it's available on the Android as well. So that experience for me is really compelling, because in your organization, most organizations encourage this BYD, bring your device to work type approach. And what's really interesting here is that, you know, a lot of organizations don't enforce what type of device it is. So it doesn't have to be a Windows phone that's locked down to the domain. It could just be an iPad that's authenticating into Office 365 or directly into SharePoint Server. So I just wanted to kind of highlight those demos. Right, so that was kind of that description there. Now, at that point, I will say thank you to my demo instructors for kind of working. I'm going to just see whether I'm just going to humor this to see whether it did actually work. It's just not coming up at all, right? Yeah, so I think the Wi-Fi. So a big round of applause to the guys on their devices. I knew I was taking a little bit of a risk by trying to do this over Wi-Fi, but I hope you got the general gist of this. So that was kind of a brief intro to collaborating in Delve and collaborating in Word. One last thing on this. There was one interesting question that came up around Delve, which was around, you know, well, there's this view count. Now, you can't actually see, he's viewed this. It is just a number count here. But potentially it does allow you to jump in and see information that you have security to, which you might have not been aware of. So that it's much like the search argument where you crawled an entire SharePoint environment and it discovered information that maybe you weren't aware of because you'd never discovered it by clicking through. Delve is going to do that as well. So with Delve, it's very, very important that you have your security in line to make sure, because this stuff is just popping up. This tends to come up within a 24-hour window of a new document appearing, but it has like I've been noticing about a 3-hour refresh right now, which they're going to get down, so that if I share a document and Andrew or John edit that document, it'll immediately appear in your Delve experience. Again, really, really useful. A scenario I do internally is I can follow people. So for instance, if I jump in here to Chris Johnson, my manager, and now this is a simulated environment, I can actually see exactly what he's been working on, which I can see for the last few days. Again, extremely useful. I follow a lot of engineers at Microsoft. So I might have like a monthly meeting with someone to find out about a new technology like Delve, but technically, as long as that documentation is available to me, I can go and follow the Delve engineering team and see exactly what documents they're working on. In most instances, the most useful information for me is the spec documents. So I can go through and see exactly what's being shipped. There will be a lot of scenarios where that's valuable to you guys in your own organizations around being able to follow people and seeing on what they're working on.